Have you ever pondered over your spiritual identity and how it's recognized in the world? This question invites us to delve into a profound exploration of our spiritual selves and how we are perceived. We are about to embark on a journey through the lens of the first letter of John chapter 3, where we are referred to as sons of God. This divine filiation is not just a title, it's a testament to our spiritual identity, an identity that is often misunderstood or unrecognized by the world. The world, with its materialistic and superficial view, may fail to see us for who we truly are, children of the Most High, bearers of the divine spark. However, this disconnect is not a stumbling block but rather a stepping stone. It's part of a transformative journey, a progression that eventually leads to the manifestation of our divine nature. This journey is not just about becoming, it's about revealing who we already are, affirming our identity as sons of God, and reflecting our divine heritage in the world. As we traverse this spiritual landscape, we'll encounter three analytic triads of conditions found in 1 John 3. These triads, identity and transformation, moral and ethical conduct, and love and relationship, offer a comprehensive view of the spiritual life presented in this verse. They provide us with a roadmap to understanding our spiritual identity, our moral obligations, and our relationships with others. Each triad presents a unique perspective, a distinct facet of our spiritual journey. They explore the dichotomy between our divinely bestowed identity and the world's perception, the struggle between sin and righteousness, and the transformative power of love. Moreover, they shed light on what happens when we move away from these divine principles, presenting a contrasting image of spiritual stagnation and deterioration. As we navigate through these triads, we'll uncover the journey from an unrecognized internal identity to an externally acknowledged divine state. This journey is not just about self-discovery, it's about embracing our divine nature and allowing it to shine through in our lives. So let's embark on this journey together, exploring the depth of our spiritual identity and its implications in our lives. Let's delve into our first triad, the triad of identity and transformation. This triad is a powerful exploration of our spiritual journey as sons of God. It begins with our foundational spiritual identity, a profound truth that is often disconnected from worldly understanding. This is the first step in our transformative journey, a journey that can be invisible to the world around us. Next, we face the world's unrecognition. Despite our innate divine identity, the world may fail to recognize us as sons of God. This disconnect isn't a reflection of our spiritual worth. Rather, it underscores the gap that often exists between spiritual truth and worldly perception. Finally, we arrive at the manifestation of divine nature. This is the future realization and recognition of our spiritual identity. It's the moment when the divine within us becomes visible, when our spiritual identity is finally acknowledged and appreciated. This triad follows a progression from reinforcement, as the bestowed identity leads to a lack of recognition by the world, culminating in the manifestation of divine nature. It's a transformative journey emphasizing the development from an unrecognized internal identity to an externally acknowledged divine state. But what happens when this triad is negated? The negation begins with the loss of spiritual identity. When we reject or forget our identity as sons of God, we embark on a different journey. This is followed by the world's recognition, but this recognition is devoid of spiritual context. It's recognition based on worldly standards, not divine truths. Finally, we see the non-manifestation of divine nature. Here, the divine nature within believers fails to be realized or recognized. This is a state where divine nature is neither realized nor expected. The negation represents an equilibrium scenario, where the loss of spiritual identity is acknowledged by the world, leading to a state where divine nature is neither realized nor expected. The identity and transformation triad emphasizes the transformative journey of spiritual identity, a journey that can be disrupted when negated. Moving forward, we explore the triad of moral and ethical conduct. This triad delves into the believer's relationship with sin, righteousness, and divine sonship. At the start, we have the commitment to sin, representing actions that are contrary to divine law. This isn't the end, though. This commitment can serve as a catalyst for change, a call to action to realign oneself with divine principles, which brings us to the second element, righteousness and purity. This alignment with divine principles isn't just about following rules. It's about embodying the very essence of divinity, embracing purity, and making a conscious effort to align one's actions with the divine law. It's about turning away from sin and pursuing righteousness. The transformation doesn't stop there. This pursuit of righteousness leads to the ultimate state, the divine sonship and sinlessness. This is an inherent alignment with divine standards, a state of being that is characterized by sinlessness. It's the final stage of the believer's journey, representing a complete departure from sin and a full embrace of divine sonship. This triad illustrates a causal relationship. The commitment to sin initially opposes divine principles, but this opposition can lead to a pursuit of righteousness, culminating in divine sonship characterized by sinlessness. Now let's consider the negation of this triad. The abstention from sin doesn't automatically result in righteousness. In fact, it may lead to unrighteousness and impurity, a deviation from divine principles. This, in turn, leads to the lack of divine sonship and sinfulness, a state completely incompatible with divine standards. In this negation, we see a reversion pattern. Abstention from sin doesn't necessarily lead to righteousness. Instead, it may result in a state of unrighteousness and impurity, ultimately leading to a lack of divine sonship. The moral and ethical conduct triad highlights the importance of alignment with divine principles, which can be disrupted when negated. Lastly, we dive into the triad of love and relationship. This triad is an embodiment of the core Christian command to love one another. It comprises of three integral elements. First, the command to love one another. This promotes mutual care among believers, fostering unity and harmony. Second, we have the contrast with hatred and evil acts, which underlines the destructive nature of hatred, acting as a stark reminder of the negative impact of such actions. Lastly, we see the transformation through love. Here, love is depicted as a potent force that can drive positive change in individuals and communities. This triad follows an inclusive pattern, where the command to love directly contrasts with acts of hatred, and this contrast enhances the transformative power of love. It's a sequence that leads us from the act of loving each other through the negation of hatred to the transformative power of love. However, what happens when this triad is negated? We see a starkly different scenario. The neglect of love towards one another replaces the command to love. Here, the absence of mutual care and empathy becomes apparent. This is followed by the embrace of hatred and evil acts, where destructive behaviors are accepted or practiced. Finally, we find ourselves at stagnation or deterioration through hatred. This signifies the negative impact or absence of transformation due to hatred. In this negated scenario, we see an exclusive pattern, where the embrace of hatred and evil acts leads to a neglect of love, resulting in stagnation or negative transformation. It's a sequence that takes us from the acceptance of hatred through the neglect of love to the stagnation or deterioration brought about by hatred. In essence, the triad of love and relationship underscores the transformative power of love. It emphasizes that love can be a catalyst for positive change, leading us from disunity and conflict towards unity and harmony. But this transformative power can be stifled when the triad is negated, replacing love with hatred and transformation with stagnation. The love and relationship triad accentuates the transformative power of love, which can be stifled when negated. Having journeyed through these triads, what insights have we gained? Our exploration of 1 John 3 has taken us on a fascinating journey, revealing deep truths about our spiritual identity, moral conduct, and the transformative power of love. We began with the triad of identity and transformation, where we were reminded of our foundational spiritual identity as God's sons. We saw how this identity often leads to a disconnect with worldly understanding, a circumstance that eventually culminates in the manifestation of our divine nature. Conversely, the negation of this triad shows us the consequences of losing our spiritual identity, resulting in a state where our divine nature is neither realized nor expected. Next, we delved into the triad of moral and ethical conduct. We learned that our actions, whether they align or contradict divine law, have significant implications for our spiritual journey. The original triad emphasizes the transformative power of righteousness and purity, leading us to divine sonship characterized by sinlessness. On the other hand, the negation alerts us to the risks of deviating from divine principles, which can lead to a lack of divine sonship. Finally, we examined the triad of love and relationship. This triad underscored the commandment to love one another, highlighting the destructive nature of hatred and the transformative power of love. In contrast, its negation warned us of the negative impacts of neglecting love and embracing hatred, leading to stagnation or deterioration. In essence, these triads and their negations offer us profound insights into our spiritual journey. They illuminate the path to recognizing our divine identity in a world that often fails to understand it. They emphasize the importance of moral and ethical conduct in aligning with divine standards. And they remind us of the transformative power of love, serving as a beacon in our journey towards positive change. As we continue our spiritual journey, may these insights guide us to a deeper understanding of our divine identity, moral conduct, and the power of love. Power of